Well, the Federal High Court seated in Abuja has granted bail to Senator representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, on self-recognition. She was arraigned on a 6-count charge of alleged imputation to cause harm and cyberbullying, which she pleaded not guilty to. The counsel representing Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan had moved an application for her bail on the basis of self-recognizance, as she is not a flight risk and is currently enjoying the bail granted her by the FCT High Court. Justice Mohammed Umar, in a short ruling, held that the offences against the defendant are bailable. He adjourned till the 22nd of September for this trial. Our senior reporter Celestina Area joins me live from Abuja to give us an update on this case. Celestina, good to have you join us. The senator representing Kogi Central was granted bail on self-recognition. Explain this to us. What does this mean in layman terms?
Okay, basically the court did not impose any bail terms or conditions for her because it is a known fact that she is a senator representing Kogi Central, and also that the FCT High Court had earlier granted her bail. So she's known to everybody and everybody is known to her. So there's no way she can pass by and nobody will see her. So because she's a public figure, so that was the reason she was granted bail. And the court today took her plea, where she pleaded not guilty, on a 6-count charge of criminal defamation, which is imputation to cause harm against the person of the Senate President, and as well the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. She pleaded not guilty, and the court said, well, you are Senator Natasha and you are well known, so we'll grant you bail based on self-recognition. And the fact that this charge today is similar to that of the FCT High Court, but the provisions at which the charges were filed is different. The one before the FCT High Court came under Section 391 of the Penal Code, while that before the Federal High Court today was brought under the Cyber Crimes Act, which is Section 24, subsection 1B and 2C. But the court adjourned to September 23rd for trial. Likewise, the FCT High Court adjourned till September 22nd for trial.
Celestina, you've been following this case. Our lawyers have been able to prove that she's not a flight risk. Give us an idea of how much a big deal this case is, saying that the federal government is doing the arraignment, and what we should be expecting up until September.
Very well, she's free to move around, though her suspension at the Senate subsists, so we don't know when that will be called off. She has time to also now plan her defense, but the federal government will call their witnesses, and the witnesses we saw that was listed in this particular case is the Senate President as well as the former governor of Kogi State. So they are the witness the prosecution tend to field in this very case. So she's not a flight risk because she's not one that when she's called to answer to the charges against her or called for trial, she will not be present. We recall at a time the federal government had actually tried to move for a bench warrant to be given for her to be arrested, saying that it was difficult for them to serve her the processes, and this was at the FCT High Court. But at that time, she instructed her lawyer to receive the charge on her behalf, and that was the reason Justice Chizoba Oji granted her bail in the sum of 50 million naira. Now talking about the FCT High Court. So, but today the Federal High Court said, well, you are Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, and also on the FCT High Court that earlier granted you bail, and you are enjoying the bail conditions. So the bail granted to you today will be on self-recognition.
Thank you for that update. That's our senior reporter in Abuja, Celestina Area, live for us. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. That one has been trashed out. That one has been. That one more this thing. This is another one. The record of this. What can I do? Yeah. Let me tell you, honestly, the profession, no
Second arraignment. Today, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan appeared before the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday, June 30, 2025, facing a second criminal defamation charge filed by the federal government through the Attorney General's office, naming Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former Governor Yahaya Bello as complainants. Attendees, she was accompanied by her husband, Emmanuel Uduaghan, activist Aisha Yesufu, her legal team, and a group of supporters. Presiding Judge, Justice Mohammed Umar presided over the arraignment, which follows a previous charge laid in the FCT High Court earlier this month, June 19th. Court proceedings, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan pleaded not guilty. Justice Umar granted her bail on self-recognition and adjourned the trial to September 22, 2025. Previous hearing. During the prior arraignment on June 19th, the court refused the FG's request for a bench warrant because the charge had only been served to her lawyer earlier that same day. Pleaded not guilty, bail granted on self-recognition, trial adjourned to September 22nd. Case background. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, a serving senator representing Kogi Central, is currently facing two separate defamation cases brought by the federal government of Nigeria, alleging she made defamatory statements against Senate President Godswill Akpabio, former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello. These are criminal charges filed through the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, which is an unusual escalation in what many view as a political matter. What happened today? Court appearance. Natasha Akpoti appeared today at the Federal High Court in Abuja for the second arraignment in the alleged defamation suit. Presiding Judge, Justice Mohammed Umar, plea. She pleaded not guilty to the new charges. Bail decision. The court granted her bail on self-recognition, a decision that speaks to her standing as a senator and public figure. The case was adjourned to September 22, 2025, for trial commencement. Who accompanied her? Her husband, High Chief Emmanuel Uduaghan, a former governorship candidate and well-known traditional figure, stood by her side, showing personal and public solidarity. Her legal counsel, led by a prominent legal team advocating for fair trial and dismissal. Activist support. Renowned human rights activist Aisha Yesufu was present, signifying civil society interest and support for democratic expression and free speech. Loyal supporters, a visible crowd of followers, likely drawn from Kogi State and Abuja, were seen outside and within the court premises offering vocal encouragement. Implications. This case is politically sensitive. Here's why. free speech concerns. Critics argue that the charges are an attempt to criminalize criticism, especially of powerful political figures. Women in politics. Natasha's repeated court appearances are being closely watched as a test case for how outspoken women are treated in Nigeria's political space. Timing. Coming barely a year after she won her senatorial seat. The timing raises eyebrows among observers of Nigeria's often turbulent political landscape. What to watch for. 1. How the court proceeds with evidence presentation and witness testimonies. 2. Public sentiment and political backlash if the case is seen as persecution. 3. The role of civil society and press freedom groups as the case unfolds. 4. FG's persistence in pursuing a criminal case over defamation, a matter typically handled in civil court. In conclusion, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's appearance in court today is more than a legal issue, it's a flashpoint in the ongoing debate about free speech, political resistance, and women's empowerment in Nigeria. Regardless of the outcome, this case will likely shape public perception about justice and democratic resilience in the country. Today's appearance of Senator Natasha Akpoti in the Abuja High Court draws renewed public interest, not only because of her status as a sitting senator, but also due to the symbolic weight her legal battles carry within Nigeria's broader socio-political landscape. Senator Natasha Akpoti, known for her fearless activism, humanitarian outreach, and strong grassroots presence, has continually stood out as a voice for justice and equity. Her presence in court, whatever the case specifics may be, highlights the increasingly complex intersection between politics, gender, and justice in Nigeria. One cannot ignore how often powerful women in Nigerian politics face intensified scrutiny. Whether this court appearance is part of a legal challenge, a petition, or defense, it invites the question, are we witnessing genuine accountability or targeted political intimidation? Either way, the public deserves transparency. It is also important to consider the ripple effect of her appearance on her constituents, women in leadership, and the evolving perception of law and justice in Nigeria. If she stands firm, as she often does, this may once again serve as a reminder that the Nigerian judiciary is not just a political tool, but a necessary stage for truth to emerge, especially in high-stakes cases involving public figures. More than anything, this court appearance should ignite interest in due process. Nigerians, especially the youth and political observers, should monitor not just the event but the outcome and implications. In a country where public trust in institutions is fragile, the handling of cases involving influential leaders like Senator Akpoti must reflect fairness, not favoritism or persecution. Let justice not only be done but be seen to be done.
But I think that we've had two elections after that we've not done too badly on. If you look at the 2019 election and the last one of the 2023 elections, now easily, I think that 2023 election, we lost that election, not that APC won that election. Because if you look at either the Labour Party or the NNPP, that is PDP.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
So what are the
divisions within the PDP are really giving you, I mean, you're losing politically because of it. So if you don't do something about it, if it continues, it's going to be a disaster for you going forward.
That is true, but I think we've all come to realize that we need to rebuild. We need to, because we're the only strong, truly strong opposition party. Those who are leaving because they have given up earlier, not because they think that PDP doesn't have anything to offer. So our view is that, look, let us sit back. Let us first accept that PDP is the true alternative opposition party. And then what are those challenges, and we make room for those challenges.
Yeah, but how long does it take before that very sensible point that you're making here gets into the heads of the people in your party? Because, I mean, we know, for example, it's like every time there's a new crisis, just recently, a group within the PDP National Working Committee is insisting that the National Executive Committee meeting, much talked about, will proceed as scheduled on Monday, this coming Monday, contradicting the announcement by the acting national chairman, Umar Damagum, that the meeting has been postponed, and creating another crisis, in addition to the layers of sedimented crisis that you've got. I mean, let's start with that. Where do things stand at the moment?
Be rest assured that we will have a meeting of all the members of the party, right, we'll have an expanded PDP meeting of stakeholders. Some of the issues we find ourselves are not by our design. That we are trying to ensure that we strictly comply with the laws, the constitution, and the guidelines of our regulatory bodies. And in doing that, we will try and make sure the right thing is done. We will have a meeting. But since all those different announcements you saw, right? We've met last night. We've spoken to a few people who have agreed that it was more of a knee-jerk reaction to the fact that they thought maybe there was lack of inclusion. But the basic principles were mostly on board that we must avoid anything that does not allow the party to be able to present candidates in 2027. That's a fundamental thing.
Right.
So what you saw, the outburst you saw the last 2 days, right? You're going to find out by Monday we're going to have resolved that. Be rest assured about that.
So you haven't actually resolved it yet?
No, we have got commitments.
Right.
We've explained the reasons why some of those decisions were taken. And some of those decisions were taken based on where we find ourselves.
PDP defections, the worst is yet to come, let them leave. We're rebuilding for 2027, Saraki on Arise News. Interview recap. In yesterday's Arise News interview, Dr. Bukola Saraki, chairman of the PDP's Reconciliation and Convention Committee, delivered a candid assessment. 1. More defections ahead. Saraki admitted the worst may still be on the horizon, forecasting 1 or 2 more governors, maybe senators likely to defect. 2. Timing is strategic. He argued that although the turbulence is concerning, occurring now gives PDP a window to recover 2 years before the 2027 elections. 3. Strength from the grassroots. Saraki emphasized the party's strong base. PDP is still very strong in the grassroots, adding that the broader membership remains loyal even if elite defections occur. 4. Procedural course correction. He explained postponing the NEC meeting and conducting a caucus instead to ensure compliance with INEC rules, particularly regarding the recognized National Secretary. 5. Opportunity amid crisis. Saraki urged those leaving to go, arguing it clears space for committed members and fresh blood. He described available time before the 2027 polls as a chance to lay lasting foundations. Reaction and analysis. 1. Brutal honesty is refreshing. Saraki's frank forecast of more defections breaks the silence, acknowledging internal fractures instead of glossing over them. It's a strategic move embracing transparency to build trust. 2. A valid coping strategy. Spotting it early is not panic, it's proactive. Facing the challenges in 2025 could allow PDP to regroup, rebuild unity, and craft credible candidates for 2027, provided they act decisively. 3. The grassroots narrative matters. Pointing to the resilience at the base is clever politics. Defections often involve elite deal-making. Reaffirming loyalty from local chapters can be a rallying cry to re-energize party infrastructure. 4. Governance discipline is key. The emphasis on legal compliance via INEC rules shows discipline. It highlights the difference between healthy organizational rigor and elite-driven chaos. 5. Risk of fragmentation. Still, listing defections publicly risks creating self-fulfilling prophecy. Elites may feel emboldened to jump ship if they perceive the party is in freefall. Saraki must now focus on positive signals such as high-profile returns or unity-driven events. What PDP should do. Focus area strategic move why it matters. Unity campaign launch national mobilization, including return of defector. Narratives reinforces grassroots, loyalty and party brand. Leadership overhaul fast-track convention. Spotlight new leadership signals renewal and vision. Electoral readiness identify and promote. Strong 2027. Candidates shifts. Conversation from crisis to opportunity. Finally, Saraki's interview is a wake-up call, not a surrender. He skillfully mixes honesty with hope, flagging serious issues while offering a plan forward. The real test now lies in execution, turning words into strategy, discipline, and unity to reshape PDP into a competitive force by 2027.